still trying to. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is your host, Andy. I'm alone tonight. I don't have Joel with me, but we wanted to do a Dudes and Dads podcast community update. We have a community moderator, Bryan Kerby, who will be joining us in a little bit here. But I just wanted to introduce him to you and kind of get a chance for you guys to know Bryan. Bryan's a good guy. We go way back. But I wanted to remind you first, we do have a Dudes and Dads podcast community, and that is two different places you can join. One being on Facebook. So we have a Facebook group there. And then we also have a Discord server for those of you who don't necessarily like Facebook or are not on Facebook. You can join us on Discord. Discord is great because it has separate like rooms and channels that you can be on and kind of different topics and break those out. And that's great. You can find both of those things at dudesanddatspodcast.com/community. So we'd love to, if you've not joined us there before, come join. It's a lot of fun to do. So without further ado, though, I do want to bring Bryan on. Bryan, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here, Andy.
So you've told me before, when I mentioned I wanted to introduce you to the audience, to the listeners and the community members, you said you've never done a Facebook Live before. So welcome to your first live stream. It's fun.
Thanks.
And anyone, if you were watching and have a comment that you want to place, you can go ahead and just put that right in the comments, and we can get that on the show tonight. But Bryan, tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's like we do with everybody we interview, we like to say, tell me your dad's stats. So if you can go ahead and just tell me what your dad's stats are.
Yep. So I have been married for coming up on 11 years to my wife, Rachel. And we have one daughter. Her name is Kyla. She's 9. She just 9 in April.
Awesome. It's good to chat with you again tonight here. So just tell me just a little bit about yourself and how long you've been listening to the podcast, and we can go from there.
So I've been a day one subscriber. I heard about it when you first started talking. Like Andy said, we've been friends for a long time. Andy was actually one of the youth leaders when I was back in youth group. I was thinking about it today. It's been like 18 years.
Holy moly! It's been really been that long.
Yeah, because I think you came in around 2003, 2004, which is when I started going to youth group, and so I mean. That's that long ago. So
you've grown up. I've grown up. We've all grown up since then.
Yeah, 16-year-old kid. Now I'm 35 with a family. So
oh man, seems like that's not possible even at all.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah. So you've been a day one subscriber. That's one of the reasons I reached out to you and said, hey, do you want to be the community moderator? So can you tell me a little bit about what you do as a community moderator? It's for those of you who are in the community, may see Bryan around. What do you do, Bryan?
So obviously I go in and I comment a lot on the posts that pop up. I'll create posts from time to time just to facilitate some conversation, and also make sure everybody plays nice.
Yeah, we appreciate you keeping the house in order there.
Yeah.
But so let's just talk a little bit about the community. We've created the community to allow listeners to interact with each other, interact with us as the host, interact with you. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, is to get them just used to seeing you and getting to introduce you a little bit. What are some of the things that you like to do? So we're going to go off the topic of moderation here, but just to kind of get to know you a little bit better, what are some of the things when you're not posting for the Dudes and Dads podcast? What do you like to do?
So, one of the big things that me and my family like to do are we play a lot of board games. We're big board game people. The interaction and the competition makes it nice. Kyla gets really involved with the board games, so that's something we do. We like escape rooms too, which kind of go hand in hand with
Sure.
the board games. And I've recently picked up disc golf too, which has been fun. I started playing about a year and a half ago, and that's been another activity that I've really enjoyed.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So, what do you do for a job? What are the things that people can, what do you do for a living?
So I work for Western Michigan University right now in the Alumni Association. I'm in what's called the gift processing department. So
Okay.
any of the donations that come in to the university go through my department. We process them and then allocate the funds to the different departments and schools that the donations came in that they were designated for. So a little bit of accounting, um, some actual like physical payment processing.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing that?
Well, I just started that actually in the beginning of May. Before that, I worked in banking for 7 years and was in Columbus, Ohio, and recently relocated to Kalamazoo, Michigan.
So you're actually closer now to well, I don't know if you're closer to the studio or not. I mean, Columbus was how far of a drive from us?
So from Elkhart, Columbus was like 4 hours, and it's only an hour and 15 now
So
from
you are
here to,
definitely
yeah,
closer. Definitely.
a lot closer.
Awesome. Well, I would also want to remind as we continue on here that anyone that is in the live video with us, if you have any questions for Bryan, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we'll ask Bryan any of the questions that you may have. So, Bryan, I kind of want to do so. You guys have, if you listen to any time at all, you guys have seen the pod decks interview deck that we go. So I'm going to ask Bryan some of the questions here, and maybe get to know him just even better. So, Bryan, who are your heroes in real life?
Real life, definitely my dad. Um, I mean, I feel like that's one that everybody says, but
Sure.
just such a hardworking guy. Um, like doesn't do anything half-hearted. Always puts everything into it, and just a great guy to look up to. And so, yeah, definitely my dad.
Awesome. What is the characteristic that you're most known for?
The characteristic that I'm most known for?
Yeah.
Oh man, um, my goofiness probably. I mean, that hasn't changed in 18 years. So
So the goofy kid that you were in youth group is still
yeah,
the same goofy adult that you are now.
yeah, just sprinkled in with some dad jokes.
It's funny, the dad jokes are hilarious because I could say the dad joke and my kids groan and like, "Ugh," and then, but my wife could say the same joke and they'd be like, oh, that's hilarious. And it's like, how does that work? Just because it's coming from dad makes it groan worthy. But if it comes from mom, then it's okay. I don't get it. Bryan, if you had someone following you around at all time, what would you have them do?
Seeing theme songs as I walked into room.
So explain more about that. Like any theme song or like a specific theme
Yeah,
song, your theme song.
no, just a random theme song anytime I walk into a room.
Awesome. Okay, so let's expound on that a little bit. If you had a theme song for yourself, what song would it be?
Oh man, I don't know. It probably depends on my mood. So if I'm in like a silly mood, it would probably be something cartoony, Pink Panther maybe.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Um, so yeah, we'll go with that.
All right. Uh what's left on your bucket list?
My bucket list: going to Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, haven't we've been doing a lot of traveling, which is something that I wanted to focus on for Kyla is to get her traveling. And one of the things we haven't done yet is go to Europe, and Scotland has always been one of my dream places to go.
Gotcha. So then my next question is what is the worst job that you've ever had?
Oh man, that one's easy. Pizza Hut. It's also the shortest job I ever had.
Okay,
I
tell
worked
me about it.
So I worked at Pizza Hut for 3 weeks, and you've known me for a long time,
Yeah.
and I've had a beard for the majority of that time that you've known me, and I had to shave when I went to Pizza Hut,
Oh
and so
no.
just it started out bad, and it didn't get better.
Oh man, that's so you said how long were you there?
3 weeks,
Oh man.
I know, a paycheck and a half. Yeah, that's all it lasted.
And what was the reason that you gave them when you quit? Were you like, I just can't do this because I have to have
Yeah,
a beard?
yeah. No, well, it wasn't that. I was also working another job at a camp in Southern Ohio, and um, it was during the winter when we weren't going to be doing that much, and the camp kind of ramped up earlier than we anticipated. So I was like, Peace out.
So what are you currently curious about?
What am I curious about? I mean, a lot of it is as a parent is what my daughter's going to be like when she's older. She's such a cool, goofy kid, and I love
Mhm.
hanging out with her. We're both big nerds, and so I'm just really curious as if she's going to maintain that as she gets older, or if she's going to have a lot of different interests. She likes dance right now, and
Okay,
so some yeah stuff like that. Just kind of wondering about her as she gets older.
gotcha. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
My greatest achievement, man. I mean, that's tough
Hmm.
because there's a lot of things that I'm proud of as a husband and a dad, and um, in the last couple of years, my wife and I have been able to pay off all our debt, which has allowed us to do a lot of the traveling that we've been wanting to. And so
Sure,
I think that's probably one of my biggest achievements um, to date is paying off all of our debt.
that's very cool. Last question here. What's the best piece of advice that you've ever been given?
Hmm. It's probably uh, if you really want something, you have to work hard for it. And that's really applicable to kind of all areas of life. So if you want something, you just go out and get your hands dirty and get it done.
That's awesome. I think you've successfully. You know what? I didn't actually give you the pop quiz music. Maybe I need to do that since we've not done that. So hold on.
Now it's time for the Dudes and Dads Pop
There, you
Quiz.
officially get the pop quiz bumper. But you've successfully succeeded at the Dudes and Dads pop quiz. So let's just talk a little bit more. Like, what are some things that you'd like to see from the community um, going forward here?
I love the interaction, so keep making comments, coming up with discussion topics. It makes it a little bit easier when there's more people in the conversation
Sure.
talking about the episodes or just life in general. So um, I'd really like to see that continue and ramp up.
Hmm. Yeah, I think same thing for me. I think I would love to see more interaction from the community members. Don't be afraid to jump out there and just get into it. Start your own conversations too. Bryan and I like starting conversations, but we would love to see you out there and see you in the community and answering and asking questions and talking. And sometimes I post things completely not related to the show. Sometimes I ask things that are like similar to the Dudes and Dads pop quiz, where I just am chatting and asking questions just to get people talking. So feel free to jump in there. Feel free to start your own conversations. Yeah. So Bryan, I think this has been a great to kind of get everyone introduced to you. Is there anything you want to tell our listeners before we're done with this episode?
I'm just glad that everybody's here. I look forward to being the moderator.
Yes. Thank you. We do appreciate you being the moderator, Bryan. So thanks again. And thanks, guys, for joining us tonight with this little just kind of mini interview with Bryan.